Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Guru Brahma classes for JEE and NEET. We are in the chapter Atomic Structure, and in this session, we are going to discuss JEE Main P/Q on the topic expression for calculating radius of the stationary state. So already we have derived a formula. We have a formula to calculate the radius of the nth stationary state. That's given by radius of the nth stationary state is equal to 0.529 angstrom units into n square by z. So this can also be written as 0.529 angstrom unit is also called as a naught into n square by z, where a naught is called as Bohr's radius. Bohr's radius. So up to now, whatever the questions are given in JEE Main P/Q, almost all the questions are from this formula, using that formula, right? So coming to this question, let us see. It is asked in very recent examination 2025. What is the question? According to Bohr's model of hydrogen atom, which of the following statement is, what is that? Incorrect, not correct, right? So let us take first option, radius of the third orbit. Radius of the third orbit. So everyone is hydrogen atom here. Every atom, we are speaking about hydrogen atom. So Z will be equal to 1. So simply I can write a radius of the third orbit is equal to a naught into n square by z. So which orbit is given? Third orbit. So 3 square by z. Z means 1. By what is asked? Radius of the first orbit is equal to a naught into, okay, first orbit 1 square by 1. So then what do you get? R3 by R1 is equal to 9. So R3 is equal to R1 into 9. Simple. Yes, this option is correct. So asked is incorrect. So this is correct. Let us go with the second option. Radius of the 8th orbit. Radius of 8th orbit is equal to a naught into 8864 by z. Here we are speaking only about hydrogen. Atom is, or the element is hydrogen. So radius of the fourth orbit is asked. 4 times larger than that of the fourth orbit. So a naught into 4 square. 4 square is 16. So 16 4 64. Then radius of 8th orbit is 4 times to the radius of 4th orbit. So radius of 8th orbit is 4 times larger than the radius of the 4th orbit. Yes, it's also correct. So 6th orbit. So third option we are speaking. Radius of the 6th orbit is equal to a naught into 6636 by radius of 4th orbit. Comparison. 6th orbit is compared with 4th orbit, radius 4 4 16. So then what do you get? R6 by R4 is equal to, calculate with 4 9 4 36, 4 4 16. So radius of 6th orbit is 9 by 4 times to the radius of the 4th orbit. So this is wrong. What is given? Radius of the 6th orbit is 3 times larger than, no, how many times? 9 by 4 times. 9 by 4 times. So question asked is incorrect. So this is incorrect. So this will be the option. Correct option. Okay. Next, fourth, let us say radius of the fourth orbit by radius of the second orbit. What is that? Second orbit. So a naught into 4 4 16 by a naught into 4 times. So radius of fourth orbit is 4 into radius of the second orbit. radius of the second orbit, right? So 4 times larger than the radius of the second. Understood? So let's go with the next question. The next question, if you see radius of the first excited state of helium. Here is the atom. Okay. First excited state, n is equal to 1, n is equal to 2. Right? Here is the electron, He plus, helium ion. Is that a He plus? He plus contain one electron, and that electron is present in the ground state, that is n is equal to 1. So if it is excited, first excited state will be n is equal to 2. It will move to 2. Right? So first excited state. What is that? N is equal to 2. So radius of the first excited state of helium ion is given as, where A0 is radius of the first stationary state of hydrogen atom, which is also called as Bohr's radius. And we have the formula R is equal to A0 into N square by Z. Here asked He plus, N is equal to 2, second orbit is asked, excited state, first excited state, and Z is equal to also 2, because hydrogen helium atomic number is 2. So radius will be A0 into 2 square by 2. So that is equal to A0 into 4 by 2, that is equal to 2 A0. Okay. So radius will be 2 A0. So this will be the correct answer. This is also given in 2025, very recent examination. So next question, if the radius of the third Bohr orbit of hydrogen atom is R3 and radius of the fourth Bohr orbit is R4, then R4 by R3, R3 2022. So let us go with R4 by R3. So this is hydrogen atom. Hydrogen atom Z is equal to 1. So A0 into 4 square by A0 into 3 square. That is equal to 16 by 9. So R4 is equal to 16 by 9 into R3. 16 by 9 into R3. Okay. Next question. So the difference between the radii of third and fourth orbit of Li plus 2 is delta R1. Difference is, okay. So delta R1 is equal to, okay, the difference between radii of third and fourth. Radii of fourth orbit minus the radii of third orbit for whom Li plus 2. So for Li, Z is equal to 3, right? So delta R1 will be R4 A0 into 4 square by 3 minus A0 into third orbit is 3 square by 3. That is equal to A0 into 16 by 3 minus A0 into 3 is 9 by 3. Okay. Next, then what do you get? A0 into 16 by 3 minus 9 by 3. A0 into 16 minus 9. 16 minus 9 is, okay, 7. 7 by 3. This is what delta R1. Then what will be delta R2? What is given? What is delta R2? Delta R2 is equal to radius of Difference between radii of third and fourth orbits. Radius of fourth orbit minus radius of third orbit of whom? Of whom? He plus. So He plus Z is equal to type helium. Helium atomic number is 2, right? Then delta R2 is equal to A naught into 16 by 2 minus A naught into third orbit 3 square 9 by 2, right? So delta R2 is equal to A naught into 16 by 2 minus 9 by 2. So delta R2 is equal to A naught into 16 minus 9, again 7 by 2. So what is the ratio asked? Ratio of delta R1 is to delta R2. So delta R1, what did we get? Delta R1, what did we get? This is delta R1, A naught into 7 by 3 by, what did we get? Delta R2? Delta R2 is equal to A naught into 7 by 2. This one. So what do you get? Delta R1 by delta R2 is equal to 2 by 3. It is equal to 2 is to. There is that option 2 is to 3. Okay. That's the answer. Next, the other question. When it is asked 20. The radius of the second Bohr orbit in terms of Bohr's radius in lithium. So we have the formula. What formula we have? Radius here. Let us take the formula is radius of the nth orbit is equal to A naught into n square by z. That is equal to A naught into second Bohr orbit. Second Bohr orbit means 2 square by z. Z lithium. For lithium, z is equal to 3, right? So by 3. That is equal to A naught into 4 by 3 A naught. Okay. So that's the answer. So the radius of the second Bohr orbit for hydrogen atom is. So these all quantities are given. Based on these quantities, we need to calculate. Actually, directly also we can calculate. We know the formula. Radius of the nth orbit is equal to 0.529 angstrom units into z n square by z. Okay, if you use this formula, it's approximately 0.53 angstrom units into n square by z. So hydrogen atom z is equal to 1. Second Bohr orbit n is equal to 2. That is equal to 0.53 angstrom units into n. N value second, 2 orbits, 2 square by, and hydrogen atom 1. That is equal to 0.53 angstrom units into 4. That is equal to 4 3 is 12, 5 4 is 20, 2.12 angstrom units. So we have the answer 2.12 angstrom units. So in the video which in which about this calculating or finding the expression to calculate the radius of nth orbit, we detailedly derived the formula to calculate the radius of the nth orbit. Okay. Then you can find this derivation, or let us see some concept. We know k is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So epsilon value is given here, epsilon. So 1 by 8.854185 into 10 power minus 12 per kg per meter cube ampere square. If you calculate this, what you get? 9 into 10 power 9 Newton into meter square per coulomb square. We get this. Okay. K. And we have calculated, or we have derived a formula to calculate the radius of the stationary state. What is that? Radius of the nth orbit is equal to n square h square by 4 pi square z square m into k. So in that, if we use, what is that? What is that? Second Bohr orbit of hydrogen atom. Second Bohr orbit means 2 square into, what is the value of h given? H is equal to 6.6262 into 10 power minus 34 joule into second whole square by 4 into 3.14 whole square into Z1. Charge on an electron 1.60210 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs whole square into Z square into m into k. Mass of the electron is given 9.1091 into 10 power minus 31 kg into k value. K value now only we have seen that 9 into 10 power 9 Newton into meter square per coulomb square. So if you calculate this, what you get? Radius of the nth orbit is equal to 2.12 into 10 power minus 10 meters. Then that is equal to 2.12 angstrom units. So this is how we calculate the radius of the nth orbit. So these are the questions asked in previous year examinations of JEE Main. We shall meet in the next session.